studying your last two. I swim med tea when they turned in. The staring down to mute. And can learn the pole that sunk he died.
At this stage of the T2 preparation process, we've already determined the corporation's taxable income. The next step is calculating the corporate tax provision, also known as the income tax expense for the year. The tax provision represents the amount of income tax the corporation is expected to pay based on its taxable income under Canadian tax law. Although the exact amount may eventually be adjusted when the tax return is assessed, the provision is the corporation's best estimate at the financial statement date. The calculation begins with taxable income, which we determined after completing all the required tax schedules and adjustments. From there, we calculate the federal corporate income tax using the applicable federal tax rates. Next, we calculate the provincial corporate income tax based on the province in which the corporation operates. In this example, the corporation operates entirely in Ontario, so Ontario's corporate tax rates are applied. The federal and provincial taxes are then combined to determine the corporation's total income tax for the year. This total amount becomes the corporation's tax provision, or income tax expense. It's important to understand that the tax provision is an accounting concept as well as a tax concept. Before the financial statements can be finalized, the corporation must recognize the tax expense that relates to the income earned during the year. This ensures that the financial statements properly reflect the true cost of earning that income. Notice how the tax provision affects both major financial statements. On the income statement, it appears as income tax expense, reducing the corporation's net income after tax. On the balance sheet, the same amount is recorded as income tax payable, representing the corporation's obligation to pay the CRA. One concept that often confuses beginners is the difference between accounting profit and taxable income. These two amounts are rarely identical because accounting standards and tax legislation follow different rules. Financial statements are prepared according to accounting principles, while taxable income is calculated according to the Income Tax Act. The tax provision is based on taxable income, not accounting profit. The key takeaway from this slide is that calculating the tax provision is the bridge between tax preparation and financial reporting. Once taxable income has been determined, the corporation's federal and provincial taxes are calculated, combined into the income tax expense, and recorded in the financial statements before the T2 return is finalized. Once the corporate tax provision has been calculated, the next step is to record it in the accounting records through a year-end journal entry. This step is essential because it ensures that the corporation's financial statements accurately reflect both its tax expense and its obligation to pay income tax. The journal entry is straightforward. We debit income tax expense and credit income tax payable. The debit records the cost of income tax that relates to the current year's operations, while the credit creates a liability representing the amount the corporation owes to the Canada Revenue Agency. Let's understand why this entry works. Income tax expense is an expense account, so recording the debit increases the corporation's expenses. Higher expenses reduce net income, which means the corporation's after-tax profit is reported correctly on the income statement. On the other side of the entry, income tax payable is a liability account. By crediting this account, we recognize that the corporation has a legal obligation to pay income taxes in the future. This liability appears on the balance sheet until the taxes are actually paid. Notice how this journal entry affects the accounting equation. Assets remain unchanged because no cash has been paid yet. Liabilities increase due to the income tax payable account, and equity decreases because the income tax expense reduces the corporation's retained earnings through lower net income. The accounting equation continues to remain balanced. The impact is also visible on the financial statements. On the income statement, income tax expense is deducted after income before tax, resulting in the corporation's net income after tax. On the balance sheet, income tax payable appears under current liabilities, showing the amount that is owed to the CRA. This is an excellent example of how accounting and taxation work together. The tax calculation determines how much tax the corporation owes, while the journal entry ensures that the financial statements properly recognize both the expense and the related liability. Professional accountants always record the tax provision before finalizing the financial statements. Without this entry, the corporation's profit would be overstated and its liabilities would be understated, resulting in financial statements that do not present a true and fair view of the company's financial position. The key takeaway from this slide is simple. Calculating the tax is only the first step. Recording the correct journal entry completes the accounting process by updating both the income statement and the balance sheet, ensuring that the financial statements accurately reflect the corporation's after-tax results. We have now reached the final stage of preparing the T2 corporate tax return. At this point, all of the calculations have been completed, the required schedules have been prepared, and the tax provision has been recorded in the accounting records before the return is filed. However, one very important step remains: a thorough review. Professional accountants never file a tax return immediately after completing the calculations. Instead, they perform a systematic review to confirm that every part of the return is complete, accurate, and internally consistent. The review begins with the financial statements. Schedule 100 should balance correctly, and Schedule 125 should agree exactly with the corporation's income statement. Any differences between the financial statements and these schedules must be investigated before moving forward. Next, the key tax schedules are reviewed. Schedule 1 should correctly reconcile accounting income to taxable income. Schedule 8 should contain accurate capital cost allowance calculations. Schedule 2 should properly report any charitable donations. And Schedule 50 should include complete shareholder information. Every required schedule should be present and fully completed. The accountant then verifies that the corporate tax provision has been correctly recorded in the accounting records and that the federal and provincial income tax calculations are accurate. Most professional tax software also performs diagnostic checks, highlighting missing information, inconsistencies, or possible errors. These diagnostics should always be reviewed and resolved before filing the return. Once everything has been verified, the T2 return is ready for electronic filing with the Canada Revenue Agency. After successful submission, the CRA acknowledges receipt of the return and later issues a notice of assessment confirming the final assessment of the corporation's taxes. If we step back and look at the entire process, it follows a logical sequence. We begin with the corporation's accounting records, prepare the financial statements, convert them into GFI, complete Schedule 100 and Schedule 125, prepare the remaining T2 schedules, calculate corporate tax, record the tax journal entries, perform a comprehensive review, and finally submit the completed T2 return to the CRA. This workflow also reflects the mindset of experienced tax professionals. They don't simply focus on calculating tax. They review the entire return to ensure that every schedule supports the others and that the return tells a complete, accurate, and consistent financial story. The key takeaway from this slide, and from example 1 as a whole, is that preparing a T2 corporate tax return is a structured process. Success comes from following each step carefully, verifying every calculation, reviewing every schedule, and filing only when you are confident that the entire return is complete, accurate, and ready for submission.